Here at NewYorkPost.com is a story entitled Real Story Behind Haunted Island of the Dolls in Mexico. It's written by Paula Froelich. And Paula begins, deep in the heart of the canals of Xochimilco, but it's Mexico City's last vestige of the Aztecs, is one of the world's most haunted and tragic locations, the Island of the Dolls. Here on a single acre, an acre's a lot of land, which houses 3 huts and a crowd of decaying dolls. Locals swear they see ghosts and hear shadows talking. It is, they believe, cursed. Gerardo Ibarra, co-founder of Ruta Oregon, a sustainable travel company in Mexico, told the Post. During the time of Cortez, many people fled here to Xochimilco and hid on the canals. A lot of these people were women and children hiding from the conquistadores. And many women killed themselves rather than be caught and ravaged by the Spanish. The Island of the Dolls was, for centuries, a place to disappear. Remarkably, it is within the city limits of one of the world's biggest metropolises. Mexico City was originally an island in a volcanic caldera lake, surrounded by the Sierra Madre Mountains. The Aztec Empire, from 1300 years before Christ to 15 and 21 years before Christ. That doesn't make any sense. It's going backwards. But let's say that's a general figure. Was the first to start developing the area, building a system of man-made islands called chinampas, and a canal system for farmers to navigate them. After the Aztecs were defeated in the Spanish-Aztec War, from 1591 to 1521, wow, that lasted 70 years, and that is running the correct direction, time-wise. Much of the chinampas were filled in and turned into the basis of the city we know today, Mexico City, that is, except for the most southern end of Mexico City, in Xochimilco, where the chinampas and canal system still exist, an integral part of local life. They are also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. At times, the neighborhood also was used as shelter for Mexican revolutionaries and religious practitioners who may have fallen on hard times. Some of them ended up killed or drowned in these canals. Ibarra introduced me to Don Loro, a community leader who has spent his entire life in Xochimilco, paddling through the small islands that are used for farming maize, squash, and chiles. On a wooden flat-bottom chalupa, Loro paddled to the infamous Island of the Dolls and recalled how, 50 years ago, the water was so clear you could see to the bottom. And that's how, in the 1950s, Julian Santana Barrera found the body of a young girl at the bottom of the waterway, just outside his door. Rogelio Sanchez Santana, the current guardian of the dolls, and a great-nephew of Barrera, said the girl was swimming with her sister or friends, and the current took her, and she drowned. According to him, it was after this. It was after his uncle found the body that trouble started. Zacchaeus Hunley, thank you for the super chat. Zacchaeus asks, what's Brackenbill? And it is lit. Thank you, Zachary. Excuse me. And a super chat from Mando V. Talking about Elizabeth. Thank you, Mando V. Mando V says, aw, Elizabeth. Not sure what that means. The spirit of the girl was living in sorrow, said Santana. In the mornings, Julian started seeing ghosts, and one day woke up and found all his crops had died. He tried many things to improve his crops, but he couldn't because the spirit damaged it. He became more and more scared. Piedra built an altar in his one-room cabin on the island where he and his wife lived, hoping to appease the spirit. But the spirit still came, said Santana. Thus he started collecting dolls as a way to protect himself from the spirit. Over the next half-century, Piedra collected more than 1,000 dolls, some from the trash in the area's main city, others gifted by neighbors and visitors. They're all still there, decaying, sometimes beheaded, and always creepy. Everywhere you look, there are dirty dolls hanging from trees, nailed to buildings and other structures, and strung along clothesline. In 2001, according to Santana, Piedra died of a heart attack in the same spot where he had found the body of the girl. Regilio said the spirit of the girl came to him and dragged him into the water. He and his wife could never have children because of the island. So my uncle Anastasio took over. After Anastasio's death in 2019, Santana assumed guardianship of the island. Although he and his wife and 3 children do not live there, they choose to stay on their own island 20 minutes away. Yes, I agree to your privacy notice. Thank you. Over the years, several other imitation doll islands have popped up in the canal. It's big business now, Santana said. But there's only one true island of the dolls. Santana said he sometimes sees shadows in the night with the moonlight. And other visitors have claimed to have witnessed the doll's eyes moving and hearing them talk. As for what will happen to the island when he dies, Santana said, the ownership I leave to the dead. I guess they're not going to keep it in the family after Santana, apparently. The kids aren't interested. Here at Discovery.com is a story by Ruben Westmus entitled The Island of the Dolls Has a Murky and Terrifying History. There's an example of one of the dirty dolls right there. Interesting because not only does it have dirt on it, but it looks like it has a crack here that was stitched. And Mr. Westmus begins. There's just something really thrilling about a place with a dark and mysterious past. Take the Island of the Dolls, for example. An island covered with decaying old dolls strung up in trees is pretty creepy on its own, even before you get to the dark origin story. The Island of the Dolls is intimately entwined with the story of Don Julian Santana Piedra. Don Julian? A native of Chacamilso, a borough of Mexico City. Don Julian left his wife and family sometime in the mid-20th century to sequester himself on an island on Trujillo Lake. I'm sorry, Techuilo Lake. Something like that. His reasons for doing so are hazy at best, but it soon became clear Santana Piedra was not necessarily of sound mind. Not long after relocating, he made a chilling discovery on the shores of his island, the body of a young girl drowned in the lake. A doll came floating down the canals shortly afterward, changing the course of Santana Piedra's life and the shape of the island for years to come. Well, Santana is the current. Oh, he also had Santana in his name. Okay, so there was more than one Santana. Okay. There's the Santana now and the Santana from then.